News 46 is brought to you by Comfort Hospice Care, where we give our patients and their loved ones peace of mind, knowing we provide the highest quality of care 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For more information, call 751-0349. News is also brought to you by Golden Casino Group, where you'll always find great fun, good food, and fantastic entertainment, all at Gold Town, Lakeside, and the Pahrump Nugget.
Tonight on News 46, numerous county programs are cut to balance the budget. Is the DARE program really on the chopping block? And how loud is a tree that falls in Discovery Park? News 46 starts now.
You're watching KPVM News 46 with Monique Mitchell. Local coverage from Deanna O'Donnell. News 46, local coverage you can count on.
Good evening. It's Wednesday, March 4th, 2015. I'm Monique Mitchell for News 46. Well, in order to balance the budget for 2016, the Nye County Commissioners made unprecedented cuts to several vital programs.
First off, I think last year part of that $800,000 was so we didn't do furloughs. I think furloughs are going to be a necessary item. I think at 5%, and ask management to take 10%. With that, I myself, of course, am happy to take the 5 or 10%, and I would challenge the all elected officials to do the same.
I'll take the 10%.
Not just our board.
If that's part of it.
If that's part of what we end up on.
Yeah.
Now, to go to support services and non-NRS required services, I would suggest, or if you want to make it a motion, cut senior nutrition subsidies, animal shelters, pass them down to the towns to run. So it's 120, it's 225. The health clinics, cut those out. In Amargosa and Beatty, Amargosa is close enough to Pahrump. Take $300,000 out of juvenile probation. Take $150 out of planning.
Are you talking about keeping Tonopah Jail as a holding facility?
Yeah, that's why it's only $800,000 reduced. I believe it's $1.2 million to run it. That gets.
Well, Sheriff Sharon Worley, joined by Assistant Sheriff Rick Marshall, spoke to the commissioners about the cut of 2 full-time officers. The commissioners proposed the Vital DARE program, which not only teaches drug resistance education, but directly prevents crime by having officers in the school and also assists in reporting crime happening inside and outside the schools. The decision of what programs to cut lay in the hands of the sheriff's office, not the commissioners.
Is staffed with sworn officers, and it looks to me like you're thinking about laying those officers off, but those officers would just transfer back to the street. It wouldn't be a cut. Their program doesn't cost $172,000 to run, and a good portion of that money are donations.
Well, we are not looking at any of the donations. We're talking about a cut from the general fund of $172,000. $172,000?
173, is it? No.
107.
172.
Yeah.
So that's,
explain that.
You're talking about 2 jobs then?
It's 2 positions, yes, ma'am. And it is not required of us by NRS statute, which is one of the things that puts it on the chopping block. This is not easy for anybody, Sheriff. It's tough on all of us.
True.
But the COPS grant is still in force. It doesn't end until April 20th of 15. And then there is a retention of 4/2016. And the reason I bring that up is because when we signed that grant a lot of years ago, there was a caption in there that basically stated that we would maintain a level of employment for sworn officers. You putting the DARE officers and getting rid of them will probably be the top that really upsets the COPS grant people. We've already had the COPS grant folks give us a letter of inquiry questioning why we are losing people. We've already cut since 2007, you've cut 25 positions. There's several I have now that haven't been filled. Out of that 25 positions, there were 11 cut out in 2011 and 9 cut out in 2014. What that means is if the grants people decide that we are not in compliance, we have the possibility of having to pay them back $2 million plus for our grant.
Reasons that the COPS will take, the COPS Office, Department of Justice, will take into consideration is financial hardship. We just had a COPS audit, and County Manager Pam Webster wrote a letter to them explaining the hardship. The COPS Office, out of the audit, one of the areas of concern was the reduction of personnel. They're going to be looking into that, but it's not a guarantee that they will accept the reasons given. There's a strong indication in Pam's letter as to the reasons for the layoff based on financial difficulty, but ultimately the decision is up to the COPS office to accept it or not.
And then Nye County Sheriff Sharon Worley gives some of her plans for cutting the budget as it pertains to the Sheriff's Office.
We currently have 49,000 warrants in our system. And modeling a warrant program after the North Las Vegas program, we can generate from the beginning of $14,000 to $350,000 monthly just by going after our warrants. The second program that we're proposing is tickets. It's an electronic courtesy payment program so that when a ticket is written, the people have the opportunity to pay that ticket immediately. They'd use that with the credit card swipe. The savings would be the NCSO processing for administration, the court time and administration it takes to get that ticket processed and ready for court, the DA court time and preparation, and of course court time on the bench. We're also proposing a possible SWAT school, which would generate funds, 3 to 5 classes a year. We would net approximately $10,000 per class. That would make around $50K if we'd have 5 classes. We also are looking at the detention centers to rent beds. We could rent 50 beds out at Tonopah for $2.7 million a year. Renting the same amount of beds out of Pahrump would net another $2.7 million. We're already talking about getting rid of our food person, that particular company that's charging us $343,000. By doing it ourselves, we can bring the cost down to approximately $103,000 a year.
And coming up after the break, we'll have your health tip of the week, so don't go anywhere.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Inspiration Senior Living, where we provide affordable elegance to Pahrump area seniors. Give us.
Welcome back to News 46. Women diagnosed with cancer in one breast can choose several treatments, including removing the cancerous breast, removing both breasts, or having breast-conserving surgery combined with radiation. A new study examined the use of these different options for women in California and whether there were any differences in the survival rates for these women.
This health tip is brought to you by
Desert View Hospital and Mountain Valley Physicians Group. Don't put your health on hold. We have time for you. Call us to schedule your appointment. 775-751-7100.
During recent years, more and more women have been choosing a double mastectomy to treat cancer diagnosed in just one breast.
The use of double mastectomy indeed increased steadily over time from the period of 1988 to 2011.
What we don't know is what happens to those women afterward and whether they gain any benefit in terms of survival.
Dr. Allison Kurian from Stanford University School of Medicine and Dr. Scarlett Gomez from the Cancer Prevention Institute of California and co-authors studied a database of women diagnosed with breast cancer in California during the past decade. They examined records of women with early-stage cancer diagnosed in just one breast who underwent a single mastectomy, double mastectomy, or breast-conserving surgery with radiation.
We ended up studying more than 189,000 women for at least 7 years each.
We were able to study the experiences of women from many different racial ethnic groups, socioeconomic backgrounds.
The rates of double mastectomy to treat a one-sided breast cancer have increased at a rate of 14% a year.
Women under age 40 were using double mastectomy at a much higher rate. In 2011, nearly a third of women in that age group were having double mastectomy. Women who had double mastectomy did not seem to have any better survival than women who had the other two surgical procedures.
The women who had the single mastectomy did have worse survival than the other groups of women.
The researchers found that women having double mastectomy tended to be non-Hispanic whites with a higher socioeconomic status and private insurance. In contrast, those having single mastectomy were more likely minorities with lower socioeconomic status and public insurance.
We really need to improve on our strategies for communicating this kind of information to a patient who is making choices about how to treat her early breast cancer.
Catherine Dolph, The JAMA Report.
Double mastectomy also has a higher complication rate than single mastectomy or breast-conserving surgery with radiation. And here is Robin McElwain with this week's All the Same Wild and Tame Save a Pet segment.
This Save a Pet is brought to you by All the Same Wild and Tame.
Hi, I'm Robin McElwain with All the Same Wild and Tame Animal Sanctuary. I'm here to introduce you to Rocket. Rocket's a year-old Jack Russell Terrier. He loves to play, very happy, excited dog. If you're interested in meeting Rocket, you can come on down to 6091 Gills Way or give us a call, 1-866-88-FLEAS. And he's also fixed and up-to-date on shots. Thank you.
This Save a Pet is brought to you by All the Same Wild and Tame.
Well, it has been a long process, but the remediation of Discovery Park has begun. We spoke to Wendy Barnett from Utilities, Inc. about it.
This is part of the old Willow Creek property. We're finally started remediating the property. We got all of our permits in place for the land stabilization portion of the project. And we started yesterday. As you witnessed, trees are coming down. Yesterday they got almost 100 trees down. When we decided what trees to save and what trees to take down, we walked the property with a licensed arborist so that she could help us identify which trees were savable. Some of them, although they still look green, they're diseased or they've been infested with beetles and those kind of things. We also walked through with the Audubon Society to make sure that we didn't destroy any active habitats out on the property.
So how many trees total do you know?
I don't know. When we counted about a year ago, there was 250, and that number almost doubled before we could start the remediation of the land.
And I heard that you're going to keep some of the trees that maybe aren't in good shape just because they actually have living habitat in them.
Absolutely. We don't want to destroy what nature brought to this land. It is our intent to preserve that. And really, we're just trying to take care of the hazards that are out here. Just last week, we had a dead tree file on personal property, so we're really anxious to get this started and get it done. After the tree removal, we'll also do weed abatement, we'll do dust control, and then we'll move on to the pond remediation.
Tell me who the construction companies are out here.
Well, the project manager is Brian Holmes with HB Consulting. They're a local firm. Whitco is who's taking down the trees. They're also a local firm. And then who will do the pond remediation is Floyd's Construction, another local firm. Everywhere we can, we've been using local here. We feel this is a local piece of property, a local influence on our community.
And how long will this take, do you know?
The tree remediation, land stabilization is a relatively quick project. I would think less than 60 days, unless the weather or something comes up. The pond remediation is a longer project. From start to finish, it'll be about 5 months.
And so this project is underway. It's an exciting project.
I am so excited. I am so excited. We've worked very long and hard to get to this point. This started for me in October of 2008 when the golf course closed its doors without notifying the utility, and suddenly we had no place to put our discharge. So a lot of years later, and a very happy outcome.
And tonight there is a meeting at the BOCC chamber at 6 p.m. concerning the new proposed rate increase for Utilities, Inc. for sewer customers. The increase, if approved, would amount to about 9%, approximately $3.40 per month per customer. And after these messages, we'll have some more information about Discovery Park.
Today's news is brought to you in part by Bees Embroidery and Garment Printing, specializing in custom and personalized decoration of gifts, garments, and more. Call 775-727-9444.
And welcome back. Well, News 46 also spoke to Liz Provenzo with Whitco about the work being done at the new park.
We're very excited to be able to support Utilities, Inc. in beautifying and supporting our community in this project, so we're grateful to be here.
You guys are longtime residents of this community.
Yeah, about 100 years combined for all the people involved with Whitco.
And so this project really just comes home for you.
Absolutely. You know, this has been such a part of Pahrump for so long, and to see it like this has just been so sad. So to be able to bring this to, something that the community can use, that's what we're all about.
When this was a beautiful park, people were so proud of the Willow Creek Golf Course. We're going to once again be proud after all these years of the property values going down, of the homeowners being upset, of vacant houses.
Actually, we've seen a huge change in that already, doing in the property management also. A big transition, a lot more people coming in, a lot more things happening. This is just the beginning of a lot more things to come.
Really great for the youth residents and Pahrump in general.
Absolutely, and that's what we're about, is community, Pahrump, expanding the things we have available, making it better for the people that live here.
Tell me about Whitco. You guys are taking down huge trees here.
Absolutely. We've had a lot of really big jobs. We're actually, obviously a female-owned company. We are Hub Zone. So we do a lot of jobs in Las Vegas also, but this is our home. This is really where we want to make a difference and an impact. So for us to be able to do this kind of a project here is just the beginning of much more to come.
A lot of equipment out here. Tell me what you guys are able to do in case people are interested.
Well, we could do anything. We do a lot of commercial, a lot of TIs, tenant improvement properties. Obviously, we do landscape jobs. We can do anything. The scope is unbelievable.
How can people contact you?
Whitco, WITCCO, or get a hold of us at Provenza Realty, Provenza Death Properties.
And when we return, we'll have your weather with Noah Began.
News 46 weather is brought to you by your local dairy farmers. Dairy products are very important in maintaining a healthy body.
Hello and welcome back to News 46. Today is Wednesday, March 4th. Today we had sunny skies with a high of 58 degrees. Your average temperature around this time of year is 67 degrees, so it was a little chillier outside today than it usually is. Winds are coming from the northeast today at 7 miles per hour with gusts up to 16 miles per hour, so the winds have calmed down a little bit. They've been really high these past couple days. They're still a little bit high, but they should be going down in the future. We'll have a UV index today of 5, which is moderate. Humidity was at 22% today. Sunrise was at 6:11 this morning, and the record high back in 1972 was 84 degrees. Well, tonight we'll have clear skies with a low of 31 degrees. Your average temperature this time of year is 47 degrees. Winds will be coming from the northeast this evening at 4 miles per hour with gusts up to 6 miles per hour. So yes, those winds will be going down even more as we go into this evening. Humidity will be at 50%. Sunset is at 5:42 this evening, and the record low back in 1966 was 25 degrees. Well, tomorrow we'll have sunny skies with a high of 63 degrees and a low of 35 degrees. Winds will be coming from the east at 4 miles per hour with gusts up to 6 miles per hour, so low winds tomorrow. Humidity will be at 32%. Sunrise will be at 6:10 tomorrow morning, and the UV index will be 5, which is moderate. For our 7-day forecast, we'll have a mostly sunny week. Early next week, we might be seeing some clouds starting to roll in. Your high temperatures will be starting off in the low 60s tomorrow, and that'll be working its way up into the high 70s. Your low temperatures will be looking at a similar pattern. It'll be starting off in the mid 30s, and that'll be working its way up into the high 40s around next Tuesday.
Well, it looks like we're going to have some pretty good weather the next few days. Thank you very much, Noah, for that update. Well, the Bureau of Land Management announced it is offering a public tour of the Indian Lakes off Range Corral in Fallon this Saturday, March 7th. This is one of 3 facilities in Nevada that provide care to wild horses and burros removed from the range, including horses recently gathered from the Fish Creek Herd Management Area in eastern Nevada. Excuse me. The public tour is scheduled to begin at 11 a.m. and last approximately 2 hours. The tour will accommodate up to 20 people. Spaces will be filled on first-come, first-served basis. The public can sign up to attend and get driving directions to call the facility by calling the BLM at 775-475-2222. And everyone is invited for the Slider Slam for Super Mikey this Sunday, March 8th from 10 a.m. to noon at Wings and Things on Loop Road. Bring the family for some build-your-own sliders right off the grill and enjoy some live music from the Reeves Brothers, plus a bounce house for the kids. This event is a fundraiser for a local boy named Mikey who is battling leukemia. And folks, that does it for this edition of News 46. I'm Monique Mitchell, and from everyone up here at News 46, we wish our viewers and KACE 95.9 listeners a great evening, and we'll see you here again tomorrow. Until then, good night.